Welcome to Ask Todd. My name is Todd Malloy. I'm a relationship, intimacy, and sex therapist, really looking to be a solution to the ills of society. And in doing so, this is my offering to the world for you to ask anonymous questions that are important to you, such that you can create an environment around you to thrive and have your best life. So, without further ado, there's a question here from Fane, correct, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Uh, Fane T. And the question resonated with me because actually I'm working with many couples that have the similar issue. It says when your partner's parents interfere, excuse the hiccups, y'all. I don't know where they come from, but here they are. Uh, when your parents interfere in your relationship, is it wrong to voice your opinion even if it hurts your partner? I like this question because I have a lot of couples that deal with this, and forgive the term, and I just can't think of another way to say it. Sometimes, if you marry a person that has helicopter parents, or if you have a mama's boy in your life, and so forth, and people tend, or outside forces tend to interfere in your relationship. Again, I'm working with a couple now that both of their parents are interfere with their relationships. They're very controlling. They always seem to jockey for who's primary in the other person's life. And when I look at long-term relationships, committed relationships, I really look at that as a unit within itself, where you're a microcosm of society as a whole. So you two are a system, a kingdom to some degree, a kingdom within a kingdom. You're the world system is the macro kingdom. We are more of a micro kingdom, but we have the same responsibilities, the same duties, same processes, same systems, of which we should protect one another. Because no matter what you're doing in a relationship, what you build, no matter how big you get, you're only as strong as the two of you in that relationship, should it be a two-person relationship. So, with all of that being said, the simple answer is most definitely yes. Because in a relationship, each person wants to feel some level of being a priority. That means including, I have to say for religious people or Christian people specifically, it says, basically it's a leave and cleave. Somewhere it says that you leave your mother and father and two shall come together to be one. That means, in my perspective, you should actually cut the apron string. Not that they're not valid, that they're not relevant, but their role and position has changed, and each other, the relationship becomes the primary factor. Now, obviously, within the relationship, how you communicate it is very important. I think you can say, people have a right to say whatever they want to say. I think you should take into account how you say it, because even though it may hurt your partner, it is not your intent to hurt your partner. Let me be very clear. We do not choose or determine the impact that what we say has on another person. People choose the emotion based on their perception of what's being said. You do not initiate or determine how they feel. So, number one is that out the gate, I don't know that if you're in a loving relationship, when you talk to your partner, that you intentionally, your motive is to hurt them. It's contrary to why you're in the relationship in the first place. So, number one, take that responsibility off yourself of hurting someone. Your only responsibility within the relationship is for you really to be honest with your experience that you're having, particularly when it is not consistent to how you want to feel and maintaining the relationship. So it's the delivery that matters. As opposed to allowing the conversation to be more emotions, and I recognize it can be an emotional conversation based on the impact for you. However, it's matter of fact. This is what happened. Hey, your mother called over the weekend and surprisingly said, "Hey, I'm here. I'm coming over to see you." And all of a sudden, you allowed your mother to come. We've changed all of our plans that we've had in a month in advance, et cetera, et cetera. And that's unacceptable. Just because she's your mother, I'm still your partner. You made a commitment to me. And as a result of that, it creates for me that I'm not primary, I'm not important. Number one, because you shifted the plans. Number two is that you never even processed. Maybe we would have shifted the plans for them, but they showed up impromptu. There was never a discussion with me. I'm just supposed to go along to get along, and I can't see how that values me. We're speaking factual, we're talking about the direct impact to you, and it's less about the parents, it's more about the impact on you, because if you're in a loving relationship with someone, that person comes with a litmus test of their own of how they should want you to feel. Think about it this way: when we get married, nobody gets married wanting to make the other person miserable. Why? Because you're signing yourself up to be miserable with them. Again, nobody goes into a relationship wanting the other person to feel miserable. Why? Because you'll be miserable with them. Well, therefore, most of the time, and I can't say most of the time, when we marry people, we wanted them to feel safe, wanted, desired, seen, heard, appreciated, valued. You want to feel emotional connection. You want to be emotionally safe, physically safe. That's a given. So, when you're in a relationship, a connected relationship, and you make the focal point, your impact, it typically grabs the other person's attention. Why? Because I'm in this relationship for you. I really don't care about the peripheral factors. I care about you and the impact. So as opposed to focusing it on the parents, really the parents' actions create this type of impact on you. And I don't want to feel this way with you. So how do we rectify, how do we remedy this situation? Now, obviously, the person can choose to hear you or not hear you. If they choose not to hear you, it doesn't mean leave, abandon the relationship. Let's figure out why. However, if consistently in similar situations they're not hearing you, you may need to reassess the relationship. But if they're able to hear you and willing to hear you and shift and adjust, no harm, no foul. With adult relationships, I think it's very important that we learn to be comfortable in being adults and be willing to have the hard conversations. Just because we're having a difficult moment, just because it's a hard conversation, doesn't mean that's a terrible thing. No, what we're saying is, hey, I see a barrier that's coming between us. And before I lose sight of you and you lose sight of me, hey, I would like you to partner with me. Let's collectively come together, remove this barrier so that we have no hindrances between us. So even though it's a difficult conversation, this is about building us, perfecting us to ensure an everlasting, as opposed to me ignoring it and slowly eroding the relationship over time, upon which we end it when it could have been solvable in the process. That makes sense? So, in its most generic term, yes, have the hard conversation. Be a mature adult, be emotionally mature, and be able to own your own emotions and just be clear about your experience and how you want to feel is the focal point. And that's really what you're looking to experience. Hey, here's a challenge. I really want to experience this with you. How do we partner? How do we collaborate together to accomplish this? Again, I thank you so much for listening. Again, Fane, if you have any additional questions in regards to this, please feel free to reach out and I'll explain it or even clarify it even more. But again, for those that are listening, I'd like you to do a couple of things for me. I appreciate that. First thing is to leave a comment about the video you just watched, or even to leave a question. Again, whether it be relationship, intimacy, sex, short-term relationships, long-term relationships. Oh yeah, and by the way, as you're submitting questions, I'd really like you to add not just your name, but your gender, your age, and how long you've been in a relationship, because all of these are factors, because I really want to be specific in answering my questions such that you get exactly what you're looking for, and that will help me. In addition to that, I'd like you to like this video, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also press the notification bell such that as new content is being put out, that you can continue on this journey and we can collectively grow and live a life worth celebrating. I appreciate your time, your energy, and your commitment to your individual success. Bye for now. I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.